Preparations for the Buddhist Practice by Venerable Rungruan Papa Saro, Dr. Rungruan Lim Chu Patapa. Principle: there are various schools of Buddhist practice, but all of them have to follow the Buddha's teaching. In Buddhist practice, it is a necessity to make a sufficient preparation before performing the practice, such as studying the Buddha's teachings carefully, and having a morality in life first, because the mind is a natural process which cannot be controlled by any one expectation. On the contrary, if a person demands to get a success, then mistakenly the mind will be contaminated with greed immediately. The Buddha warned about having a good study before performing a practice as follows.
Do not rush into the practice without having a sufficient studying on how to perform the practice rightly. Therefore one should have a good instructor or teacher who can teach you correctly. As now we can study the Buddha's teachings in suttas, so the suttas also can be a good teacher. Otherwise you may not know how to perform the practice rightly.
The objectives. 1. Learn the difference between the Buddhist practice and the conventional practice. 2. Learn on the necessary preparations on how to perform the Buddhist practice in accord to the Buddha's words. Typically, by having morality, this will help the mind to be calm during the practice. The Buddha introduced a set of general guidelines in performing the practice, called the pathway on the Buddhism practice, is defined in 8 steps as follows. 1. The first condition is to live in dependence on teacher, who will set up a keen sense of shame and moral dread, with affection and respect. 2. The second condition is to learn in dependence on teacher, who will disclose and clear up what is obscure, and dispel the perplexity. 3. The third condition is to learn the Dharma, and to dwell the withdrawal of body and mind. 4. The fourth condition is to be virtuous in undertaking the training rules, seeing danger in even the slightest faults. 5. The fifth condition is to learn, and consolidate with the right meaning and phrasing, then recite verbally, investigate with the mind, and penetrate well by view. 6. The sixth condition is to be energetic in setting up the abandoning of everything unwholesome and the acquiring of everything wholesome. 7. The seventh condition is not to engage in rambling and pointless talk on Dharma. 8. The eighth condition is to dwell on contemplating rise and fall in the 5 aggregates subject to clinging, thus.
Such is form, such its rising, such its ceasing, such is feeling. Such is perception, such are volitional formations, such its consciousness, such its arising, such its ceasing. For these 8 reasons his fellow esteem him as one who truly knows and sees, and these qualities lead to affection, esteem, concord, and unity. These are the 8 conditions for obtaining the wisdom fundamental to the spiritual life when it has been obtained, and for bringing about the increase, maturation, and fulfillment by development of the wisdom that has already been obtained.
And since the Buddha had passed away long time ago, but fortunately his teachings were recorded in the Buddhist suttas, therefore it is a necessity to study the Dharma from the Buddhist suttas. The Dharma in the Buddhist suttas is the collection of the Buddha's teachings about the truths of life within nature. And in performing the Buddhist practice, we also have to study the Buddha's teachings carefully, including learning the Buddha's teachings from a qualified and knowledgeable teacher who is clearly understand the Buddha's teachings to disclose problems along the practice. After then, we should look for a quiet place leaving away from people to pursue the Buddhist practice rightly with effort, with mindfulness on the mental phenomenon of the rise and fall in the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. To gain insight wisdom. And this is the reason why this book dedicates a substantial portion of the book on the Dharma of Buddha's teachings. After having a good preparation and understanding of the Buddhist practice, then we can proceed on performing the Buddhist practice correctly.